Hi, I'm Tiffany Domino. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my website is howtoentrepreneur.org, and my mission is to help you grow a business from idea to enterprise. So if you or someone you know wants to start or grow a business, definitely stop by howtoentrepreneur.org and check out my free course. It's a framework to help you grow a business from idea to full-time income and from full-time income to enterprise. I also have some cool quizzes here, like my business health check, that can help you to evaluate what you might need to do to improve the results that you're having in your business. So I'm really hoping that tool can be very helpful for you. So today what we'll be talking about is a Kinsta review, what users say, pros, cons, and alternatives. So if you're looking for a thorough Kinsta review, you're in the right place. Here we'll be discussing if this is a good web hosting option for you and your business needs. So when you decide to take your business online, it's important to choose a quality web host. Choosing a web host can be very tough because there's lots of games being played in the hosting industry. Some hosts are strongly promoted simply because they have high affiliate commissions, and others don't get as much of the spotlight that they deserve. Kinsta is one of my most favorite web hosts to recommend for small business owners, and I actually didn't notice them until recently. And so after I did research about them and studied their platform, and I'll be able to do a tour for you as well, you'll see exactly why it's become one of my favorite places to recommend for small business owners who are getting some traction online. And so in this review, I'll be explaining to you what it is, how it works, pros and cons, what it does well, what it does not, what others are saying, both good and bad, my recommendation, and some alternatives in case you still want to do some comparison shopping. So first, let's talk about why do you need web hosting. So many people who are looking for web hosting want to know, why can't we just go without it altogether? So they might be experiencing bad customer service, lots of downtime, or simply getting overwhelmed while doing the research for a web host, and they want to avoid it all. So let's first talk about why you would need web hosting. So the purpose of web hosting: in your phone you have storage for your images, your recordings, and other things, and in your computer you have a hard drive or a standard state drive, SSD, that stores data for you. And similarly, if you want to get customers from the internet, you need to have intellectual property like written text, images, videos, or audio files on your website that people want to see. And when they search for the information on your website, even if it's specific to your business, like maybe you have a About Us page on about your business, but when people search for that About Us page, then you want them to be able to search inside of the search engines or social media, and you want your content to appear. If you store your content inside of Google Drive or inside of the Dropbox or another electronic device that you might have, the content won't be served to the internet searcher 24/7 on demand. So the web hosting service has certain they have certain tools, certain servers that make sure your intellectual property is safe online and make sure your content is served to the end user on demand 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. So what is Kinsta? So you might be wondering, how is Kinsta different than other web hosting companies? And the reason is because actually Kinsta is one of the new kids on the block in the web hosting industry. Oftentimes, being the new kid isn't the best thing, but many people have identified problems and gaps in the web hosting industry, and Kinsta has served as a great addition. They fixed many issues webmasters were having, and it looks like I'm going to have a co-host for the remainder of this video because you can hear my daughter in the background. So I'll go and get her and then bring her and we'll finish this video. One moment. Okay, so I'm back. And so I talked about how Kinsta is kind of the new kid on the block, but they've identified problems and gaps in the market, and they've served as a great addition for the hosting industry. So they fixed many issues webmasters were having, like bad customer support, downtime, sites crashing when they get a surge of traffic. A lot of site owners who have high traffic sites notice that that their sites would just be cut off once they hit a certain point of traffic, and that's common for a lot of shared hosting plans. They also noticed slow load times. The customer support required long briefs. If you call then and you were having a problem with your website or something like that, a lot of the people weren't knowledgeable, so you would have to really explain and explain and explain in order for them to understand the issue you have with your website. So a lot of customers were complaining about things like this with other web hosting companies. They also complained about hacked websites, and some web hosting companies have a really high upsell charge for when you have a hacked website. So then it's really expensive to repair. Some companies have really low introductory rates where you'll buy your first year of hosting for $1, and then the next year it just skyrockets where you weren't to points that you might not have expected. And the surprise spike in prices for consecutive years was something that a lot of people complained about. And there's a plethora of other issues that are common in the hosting industry, but Kinsta has managed to solve those problems with their web hosting service. So Kinsta responded to the market demand by customizing a hosting experience specifically for people who have WordPress websites. They've hired WordPress experts to customize their support. So when you call, you get people who are knowledgeable, specific about your problems with WordPress and then with the hosting environment as well. And they've built their entire hosting services on the cloud, which means customers use the same infrastructure that hosts Google.com, which is the highest traffic site online, and YouTube.com, one of the highest traffic sites online. So being on that Google infrastructure is really like the gold standard for hosting, because most people know that Google.com operates really well. YouTube.com operates really well, has high uptime, has very fast load speeds. So if they're using the same infrastructure, then you can expect a really high quality service at Kinsta. So that's one of the reasons why it became one of my favorites, because they're using the Google infrastructure, and they're also having really high customer satisfaction. So let me keep telling you more about Kinsta. So they've been used by very high traffic sites. Many very high traffic sites have switched to Kinsta because they scale automatically. So if you have a surge of traffic, maybe you have 1 million visitors today and you usually have a couple hundred, that 1 million visitors translates into lots of new sales, or it should, if you have the right conversion optimization in place. And so you wouldn't want the site to just crash once you get those 1 million visitors. And with Kinsta, you wouldn't have to worry about that, because they have automatic scaling, where if your website had a surge of traffic, you would be able to just handle that. You'll be able to take all of the sales and the conversions that come as a result of that spike of traffic. And so they can handle sites that have traffic of over 1 million visitors, page views per month, and their support has been raved about as very, very good. You can see some of the very large companies that use Kinsta. Buffer is a social media management application. You have TripAdvisor. You have FreshBooks. You have Intuit, who I've talked about QuickBooks, and I've talked about TurboTax here on How to Entrepreneur. And you can check out my reviews of both of those two software services. These two services serve tens of millions of customers, and Intuit has other brands, and Kinsta hosts all of the Intuit's websites. So that's pretty amazing right there, because those websites work really well. They're very reliable websites. A lot of people use them. So if they trust Kinsta with their business, then for small business owners, they should definitely be able to trust Kinsta with their business as well. FreshBooks is another website that's grown massively over the last decade, and I've also done a review of them. They offer cloud-based accounting software to small business owners, and they have a very good high-quality service, and it's cloud accounting. So they're using a lot of bandwidth and attracting a lot of traffic to that website, and they're trusting Kinsta as the host of choice. So those are two really strong companies that are trusting Kinsta, and Kinsta's doing a really good job with offering them good services. You can visit those websites right now if you want and check out the speed and the quality of their hosting just by typing in the URL. So those are two case studies. TripAdvisor is another very high traffic website that uses Kinsta. It's a travel booking website, and you can find you can test that website out as well and see how fast it loads, and you'll see yet another proof of Kinsta and their infrastructure and the services that they offer. So there's also many other high traffic websites that do lots of business online. I really wanted to point out these companies who do majority of their business online, because if you're a company and you offer services or you offer products and you have a more diversified marketing strategy where you might attract customers from offline or from other methods as well, then you won't have as much risk associated with your online business or with your website. So I wanted to show you these companies who really have put a lot of eggs in one basket online and still trust Kinsta for these really large companies that serve millions and millions of customers. So how does Kinsta work? The Google Cloud is the gold standard of internet speed, stability, and safety. And oftentimes, let me start over. So the Google Cloud is the gold standard of internet speed, stability, and safety. And how many times have you seen Google down? If you've ever seen Google down, it wasn't down for long. And as a result, you can get your website on the Google infrastructure, and that will be a really, really good thing, because they really are good at making sure their websites are live. And if you get to use the same infrastructure, you can have that same assurance. So unfortunately, without a team of developers, working on platforms like Google Cloud directly can be very complex and confusing. It requires coding knowledge and a development background, amongst other things. And if you're like me and you don't have the coding or development background, or if you do have the coding development background, you may not be interested in using it. So in those cases, it's best to work with a web host like Kinsta. They have the developers, they have the coders, they have the WordPress experts that have been in the industry for years and years. And so you'll have all of that service and expertise as a partner, and they'll be able to make sure that your website stays live, help you prevent any hacks or anything like that, and you'll be able to focus on just attracting quality clients and everything else that you need to do to run your business. So they make sure you use the complex infrastructure of Google, but the complex parts are taken care of. So because of Kinsta, you can simply work on the front end functions and the components of your business that satisfy your customers the most. So if you're wondering how to get started with Kinsta, Kinsta has a very streamlined process that makes it quite simple, and I really want to show you the inside of the Kinsta dashboard so you can see exactly how it would go. So when you go to Kinsta's website, first you would choose your plan, and let me see, I'm trying to balance baby holding and also navigating things for you so you can see. So let's go ahead to Kinsta's website and I'll show you how it would look from the front end so that you can see what it would be like to go to the website. So when you go to howtoentrepreneur.org/Kinsta, then you would be able to try out Kinsta and see how the website is, what services and pricing they offer there. If you want to verify things from the review even further, you can also check out the different clients they have. They have a lot of different case studies here as well, so you can see the clients that I was referring to with Intuit, and you can see their experiences with Kinsta's customer support. But if you wanted to get started with Kinsta, you would go here to view plans, and you can see they have quite a few different plan options, and their plans go well over, look at that, over 1.5 million visits, 2 million, 3 million, and these are readily available for you to use on their website. So included with these plans, it shows you how much disk space, that you get a free SSL, and you also get to use their content delivery network. They use one of the most popular content delivery networks, and a very reliable one at that. So the content won't only be served directly from Kinsta's servers, but your content will also be stored on the content delivery network closest to the end user, which would make the site load time so much faster. And so those things are included and easily turned on and integrated when you have Kinsta hosting. So the plans start at $30 and range as you have more and more website visits and as you need larger disk space. So you can see that. So to get started, you would just choose your plan. A lot of the people I know that get started with Kinsta are high traffic sites already. You can start with the $30 plan if you have less than 20,000 visitors. You can start with the $60 plan if you have less than 40,000, and it goes up like that. And you can also see the disk space. So if you have lots of images, or if you have an e-commerce website where you have lots of product pages, then they've recommended that you start at this Business 2 plan. So you'll have to look at both the amount of disk space that you use at your hosting company, as well as how much traffic you have and how much WordPress installs you want to do. So let's take, for example, we decide to start the $30 plan. Then you can see it's very streamlined how you would actually get started. So again, you would go to howtoentrepreneur.org/Kinsta, and that's my referral link. So any volume discounts or anything that I'm able to accumulate as a result of my Kinsta partnership, you'll be able to get. So you would start here, and you can change the yearly plan. It's $300 a year, so they give you 2 months free. You can choose the monthly plan, and that's $30 a month. You get the free CDN, which isn't standard in the hosting industry. That's not a standard. Usually you would pay increased price for that. So that's part of the reason why Kinsta is more of a premium priced package, because they start everyone with this content delivery network, and they also start everyone with SSL, and then they also include in the package that if you ever get hacked, that they'll remove that. That's a huge value. And so I can say my husband and I, we've tried companies like Bluehost and HostGator and companies that the pricing for the hosting is much cheaper, but those things aren't typically included as included in the plan. So if you get hacked, which did happen to my husband, all of his websites got hacked, and each one cost $200 to remove the virus from his websites. So if you take that, and he had more than 15 websites, and you add that all together, that cost was huge in comparison to if he had Kinsta as a service at that time, and that was an included service in his hosting. So those are just things to think about when you decide to start your hosting. You want the company that's really going to have your back and really going to cover over the weaknesses you might have in the online space. So you choose your plan, you create your account, and then I'll show you, once your account is created, then it'll look like this. This is the dashboard, and you will go in and add your first site. So once you add your site, once you add your site, you go to add your first site, and then you get to choose which data center. So most people recommend that you choose the data center closest to either you or closest to your end user, where your traffic comes from most, because then it'll make it easier for those files to be delivered to them quickly. But you also will have the content delivery network, so regardless of which data center you choose, you should be good to go to deliver content quickly all over the world. So you choose your content delivery network, and then you choose your site name, and you can either use a domain that you own and have it migrated over. And that's actually what you have to do. You can't, they're not a domain registrar. So you would have to use a company like Wealthy Affiliate or like Namecheap. I personally use Wealthy Affiliate as my domain registrar, and you can find out more information about that by going to howtoentrepreneur.org/Wealthy Affiliate, or going to Namecheap, howtoentrepreneur.org/Namecheap, and you can purchase your domains there, and then you can transfer them once they build up the traction where you want to use the Google Cloud platform, the infrastructure and all that. You can transfer them to Kinsta and have them hosted there. So after you have the website, they migrate the website for you for free, and then you would either install WordPress if it's a brand new website, or you don't install. So if you've ever seen any other hosting platform and the cPanel, then you would know that this dashboard is so clean in comparison and makes it so much easier to install WordPress. I actually did a video that you can take a look at. It's another company that I recommend for people who like to use cPanel. And you can take a look at my Big Scoots demonstration, and you can see that cPanel, what cPanel looks like. For me personally, I really dislike working with the cPanel. It's very complicated in my opinion, so I really like how Kinsta has this nice user interface. It makes it very easy to look around. So also, when you're logged on, you can see immediately how much resources you're using. You can see what sites you have hosted with Kinsta. You can see once your first site is added, it'll show your traffic right here. And so you can have your Google Analytics that's telling you your analytics data. But when you log onto your hosting account, you can also see your analytics data there. Some other nice features are how they have, so you will have your analytics there as well. In your sites, once your site is added, you will be able to switch your site to a staging environment. And if you haven't heard of a staging environment before, it's really, really, really important once you start driving traffic to your website and you have several visitors to your website, then you don't want to make all of your edits and changes to your website in the public mode. So a staging environment is where the host will create a duplicate of your website so that you can test and do the different changes and modifications. Maybe you decide you want to completely redesign or rebrand or whatever. You can do all those things without it being visible to the public. And then when you're ready to present them to the public, you can push it out into a different view. So that staging environment is really important for people who plan to make tweaks to their design. Like recently, I made a lot of tweaks to How to Entrepreneur and the design there. And that staging environment is such a nice feature that they have there at Kinsta. So after you install your WordPress and you have the website over at Kinsta, then it's time for you to get traffic and make the sales. So after your website is set up on the Kinsta platform, you'll notice the fast speeds. The fast speeds positively impact your website visitors' experience, and in turn, Google rewards you with high rankings, and as a result of good website hosting, you'll be in a better position for traffic and sales. Of course, there's still things you have to do to convert the traffic to a buyer. And if you need help with any of that, you can definitely check out my free e-course and my coaching services. You can test out all of that free. My coaching services, I offer that free for 7 days through private message. And you can ask me questions about how to drive traffic to your website or how to convert more traffic or whatever you need that can also help you if you decide to host through Kinsta or if you decide to host elsewhere. My services can be helpful for you to help you get more results and be more effective online. So you'll have to continue adding content that's in demand, and doing market research for what's in demand is something that you would have to either know how to do or get help doing. And again, I can help you with that. You can expect climbing rankings and sales. And if you decide to go the paid traffic route, you can be sure that your site won't crash when you send paid traffic to your site. You can also be sure that your site speed will be fast, so when people come to your site, they won't bounce away and your money won't be lost. It'll be well spent. So who is Kinsta for? I'll be honest that Kinsta isn't for everyone. Some people prioritize price over value, and they'll prefer the cheaper options regardless of what's said. Then there are other people who don't have much traffic, or people come into their websites demanding their products or services. And if you haven't discovered the market for what you offer online, it's probably best to stay with an alternative hosting company until you have proof of concept. If you aren't ready to start spending $30 a month for hosting because you don't have customers and because you haven't really proven your concept, then it's probably best for you to go with a cheaper hosting option until you really have proof of concept and until you're really ready to be serious about doing business and attracting customers and sales using the internet. So I recommend, if you don't know how to use the internet, or you don't know how to attract customers or convert customers or identify what's in demand, I recommend a training program called Wealthy Affiliate. And you can find more information. I can actually coach you there if you follow the link howtoentrepreneur.org/wealthyaffiliate. I'll leave all the information about how you can get access to Wealthy Affiliate down in the description box. You'll get that information if you check out my free e-course as well, because I offer coaching there at Wealthy Affiliate, and I also create lots of training for entrepreneurs at Wealthy Affiliate as well. So I love being able to help with teaching you how to get more customers, how to get more sales online, how to get more sales offline. I have experience in both directions, and I really, really like helping to empower you to grow your business from idea to enterprise. My coaching is just a part of what I offer, and the training that I offer at Wealthy Affiliate is just a part of that whole scope and that whole mission that I constantly reiterate on all of my videos. So once you learn how to optimize for search engines, how to run successful ads, and you start to create content, products, and services people are looking for online, you'll start to get good traffic, and then Kinsta would be more than worth looking into. But I like to recommend for startup entrepreneurs or people who haven't really solidified their concept that they figure out their concept first and really get confident and make the commitment that they're really going to make the business work before they get too much into having high operating expenses. So as far as Kinsta's tools and training, Kinsta offers a blog, newsletter, and a knowledge base to help you learn how to use their hosting platform. And if you're like many small business owners, you need training on traffic generation, lead conversion, and overall insight on how to be successful online. And then you'll want to get additional training elsewhere. So you can get the help you need to succeed online along with my business growth framework by checking out the e-course. Kinsta was founded by a WordPress expert and is currently run by engineers and those who have been industry experts of WordPress for years. So you'll have 24/7 support from WordPress experts to live chat with as you need it. So when you look at the Kinsta dashboard, you can see that this live chat section is right here, and all you have to do is start to ask your questions and they'll be able to help you. The knowledge base is right here, and you can see they have quite a bit of information for Kinsta customers. So those are some nice features. So what does Kinsta do well? Kinsta is powered by the Google Cloud Platform, the same platform that powers Google and YouTube. They host websites that drive millions of visitors like Intuit. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they prorate refunds. A lot of companies won't do that. So if you decide you want to cancel your services, there's no refund available, or they'll still charge you for the month. But with Kinsta, they try to be perfectly fair. Whatever you used is what you have to pay for. What you didn't use, you don't have to pay for. So that's really nice. There's no fee for upgrading or downgrading your plan at any time. And going back to the money back guarantee, that really makes it where it's really, really low risk, because you can try out the service, see how it works for your business, and if you decide you don't like it, you can transfer your website somewhere else. So that's something that you want to think about. You don't have to think about it like, I'm going to be stuck at Kinsta. It's something that you can try, test drive, evaluate whether this is the best hosting option for you, and then they have the 30-day money-back guarantee, so it really lowers that risk a lot, and they prorate the refunds. They also migrate the website for free, so that's something else that you wouldn't have to worry about. They won't shut down your website if you get high volumes of traffic. So as entrepreneurs, that's our ultimate goal, is to drive lots of traffic to our businesses so that way we can have conversions and sales. So you don't want a host who's going to shut down your website when you get that traction, because that could be a lot of money lost. Kinsta also does uptime checks every 2 minutes. So they make sure that your website is up and you don't have to worry about that. They do full backups every day. So if you mess up with your website or something like that, you can know that they've stored a backup and you have access to that inside of your dashboard. So going back to the Kinsta dashboard where it says sites, you would have access to your backups inside of this area, which is really, really cool. And then they have the staging area for updates without them being visible to the public. They have automatic scaling when you have traffic surges. They have free hack prevention and fixing. They have the CDN included at no additional cost. You'll have access to features and tools that come typically with the cPanel or Plest, which are what other hosting companies tend to use. So you'll have all of these accesses if you are a developer or somebody like that who likes to have access to PHP, MyAdmin, redirects, logs, SFTP, and all of these things. So all of those things will be one click away with Kinsta. It won't be completely lost, even though you'll have this managed service and a nice user experience. What doesn't Kinsta do well? They don't host other content management systems aside from WordPress. So if you wanted to use a content management system like Drupal or PrestaShop or Magento, then you wouldn't be able to do that with Kinsta. They don't provide training for those who are unfamiliar with how to effectively use the internet for customers and sales. So if you aren't familiar with how to connect with customers online, how to use your website to reach more customers, or if you haven't made sales online before, if you haven't made lots of sales online before, then that training, you would want to get that outside of that. And like I said, I help with that here at How to Entrepreneur. For many people, their price will be a disadvantage. They are more expensive than shared hosting alternatives, but they have a lot of add-ons and upgrades that you don't typically get for the basic prices that shared hosting gives you. So they include many add-ons like the SSL, like the CDN, all those things. And also, they don't have the annual price increases. Your price stays the same year after year. They also offer 2 months of free membership when you go annual. And they have a higher level of performance and support than what you typically would see through hosting companies. A lot of times you'll call the hosting company and it'll be like a call tree, and it'll say press 1 for this, press 2 for this, and then you end up hearing the music and you're on hold for long periods of time. So that can really waste a lot of time and productivity that you could be otherwise using in your business. And with Kinsta, they have the live chat feature and very fast response time, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. So when you factor in what's offered, then you'll find that the pricing at $30 a month is actually really modest. They're saving you time. They're saving you peace of mind. They're also giving you high quality, high speed, better user experience for your customers. So it really comes out to whether or not these are good, are your buying motives, and whether or not these are valuable to you. For me, these are really important. The things that are that Kinsta is offering are really highly important to entrepreneurs, and for my business specifically, yes, it's very important. So when searching on Google, it's very obvious that there's a monopoly of positive experiences with Kinsta. When you dig deeper, you'll find lots of positive customer reviews at places like Trustpilot. So you can take a look at this screenshot that I have from Trustpilot, and you can see that there's about 4% that are giving 1 or 2 stars. But the large majority, 97%, are giving 4 and 5 stars. So that's a really, really clear monopoly in favor of high customer satisfaction. And you can actually, at Trustpilot, you can actually read each individual review and see what their issue was. But I've taken a look and summarized the positive and negative experiences for you so that you can kind of have an idea of what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. So the common positive feedback that I saw from reading the reviews of Kinsta online is that they don't shut down your website when you get traffic surges. So for most customers, that means you don't lose money. They have a very nice user interface. Their support is very fast. They're reliable. Some people switch from another mainstream host and they would have comments like, I switched from Flywheel, or I switched from WP Engine, and Kinsta is way faster. So I saw quite a few comments like that. I switched from Bluehost and Kinsta is way faster. I also saw comments where people talked about how knowledgeable the support was, and that the customers feel they spend less time explaining their problems or searching for solutions. And many customers were being forced to upgrade at other companies. So even with the cheaper hosting companies, they might start out at $2 or something like that, but as you start adding more images, more video, more content, more traffic to the mix, then they'll start requesting that you upgrade, because you'll be using the maximum amount of bandwidth and server space for the price. And so a lot of customers, even though they started out at a very cheap price, they might have been forced to upgrade, and then saw that if I'm upgrading to $30 at a different hosting company, why not just switch for the improved customer support, the improved uptime, the improved user interface, the CDN, and all of those other things. And that's what made them make the switch to Kinsta. As far as common negative feedback, I like to include that as well, because it helps you to really understand both the good and the bad. So higher priced, so some customers mentioned how they are higher priced than other hosting alternatives. Some customers also, like e-commerce customers who try the plans less than the business 2, were noticing performance issues because there's so much uncacheable data on apps or plugins like WooCommerce or product pages that they would make. Since there's so much data that is not cacheable, Kinsta recommends that you have at least 4 PHP workers, and some customers were still trying out if they can do some of the cheaper plans or some of the plans with lesser PHP workers, and they have had less a lower performing experience. So we'll take a look at one of the negative reviews. I've included that here so you can see kind of how their experience was. The most helpful positive Kinsta review came from Jake Martin, the senior manager and web architect at Intuit.com. And what he said was, as a large organization with exacting performance and unique SLA requirements, our team evaluated several hosting providers in addition to rolling out our own self-hosted proof of concept. And our success criteria was in finding a solution that makes sure our WordPress sites have consistently fast page speed, performance, millions of visitors per month, is secure and highly available in the event of system outages. Out of the handful of hosts and solutions we tested, Kinsta provided the best-in-class performance while reducing our team's dependency on DevOps support. So that's a huge testimonial. And as far as the negative review, this person said they heard so much great about Kinsta and they're so disappointed. So after reading so many good reviews about Kinsta, I moved 2 WooCommerce stores to them, looking forward to fantastic performance. Boy, was I disappointed. For both stores, I chose the $60 plan with 2 PHP workers. And if you remember, a little while back, I mentioned that Kinsta recommends you have 4 PHP workers for e-commerce. And so let's keep going. While the thought of more PHP workers sounds great, it actually stands out to me now that it's more of a limitation gating your site's performance. Store number 1 is a beast with a lot of plugins. Yes, there's a lot of optimization that could be done on this site, I'll admit that. But at the end of the day, we need most of those plugins for integrating our store with our platforms like bookkeeping software, shopping feeds, email marketing, Amazon Analytics, etc. Integrations that any online store needs for running a successful business. Store number 1 was really slow. It took several minutes just to reach the control panel. A temporary upgrade to the $200 plan made it a great deal faster, but definitely not enough to live up to Google page speed standards. Store number 2 is pretty lean, developed with a custom theme, with a few queries on the front end as possible, not even a mini cart, and only a few necessary plugins, payment, email marketing, and shopping feed. This site was brand new with 0 traffic, but still it was incredibly slow. I couldn't really believe this. Kinsta had to be great because of the great reviews and their awesome blog posts I've read. So I created a temporary VPS with 8 gigabytes of memory and 4 virtual CPUs with server pilots hosting Stack, and also installed Memcached. I moved store number 1 to this VPS and tested it. The VPS could run the store without any problems. CPU usage was never over 20%, and average usage was between 0 and 5%. I guess Kinsta is great for WordPress sites that are fully cached and not dynamic like a WooCommerce store. If you do plan to host a WooCommerce store on Kinsta, you need at least the $200 plan. But here's the thing, for $200 you can get a killer VPS that you can throw anything at. Sadly, I'm really disappointed, but I'll give Kinsta 2 stars because of their great customer service. So that was from Jep Christensen at Trustpilot. So I present these things to you so that you can really evaluate your situation and you can see some other people's experiences. As far as the pricing for Kinsta, we talked about how the pricing breaks down, and we visited their website so you can see it. And so for my final opinion, I'll definitely have to, and I actually did this after writing this post, I updated my list of best web hosts for small business owners because Kinsta is definitely a major contender in the market. And many of the cons that I've seen business owners mention about other web hosting options are satisfied with Kinsta, which makes them a great option if you're looking for a way to get on the cloud platform. I wouldn't recommend them for the price over value conscious buyer or for buyers who aren't ready to invest in the most appropriate plan for their business situation. So like we talked about with the e-commerce customer, he noticed that even after he upgraded to the $200 plan, it still was not the optimal performance speed-wise. But he also mentioned that his website had a lot of plugins and non-cacheable data, so he may have needed to upgrade even higher. So if you're not ready for choosing the plan that is most suitable for your demands, then you wouldn't want to start out at Kinsta. As a warning for e-commerce sites, if you have an e-commerce site run on WooCommerce, then this is what the Kinsta staff has told me in response to my enclosed research. So this is a message that I received from them so they can help instruct e-commerce customers to the appropriate plan. And what they said is, it does happen that customers don't go with the most suitable plan. Our support team is there to help with their choice and try to provide help with issues of sorts. However, the choice of the wrong hosting plan does result in performance issues. We do emphasize that for e-commerce sites, we recommend plans with at least 4 PHP workers. Additionally, we offer specific optimizations and add-ons for these sorts of websites. We host numerous e-commerce sites of all of which are satisfied with our services. Case in point, a WooCommerce agency, Neuralab, whose case study you can find here. If you have additional questions, I recommend you reaching out and asking the questions at the Kinsta website. So there are case studies that they have of e-commerce sites, and if you look at some of the large ones that I mentioned, like TurboTax or FreshBooks, those 2 sites sell their services directly online, and then they also have Neuralab that you can look at. And all of those services have lots of data, lots of pages, lots of images, lots of video and things. So you can take a look at both experiences. So for price conscious buyers, if you're a price conscious buyer, they aren't the cheapest platform, but they can save you lots of time, give you more features, and give you more peace of mind than what's possible at many of the other competing web hosts. How much would you be willing to pay for more features, more speed, more rankings, and ultimately more money? So I think Kinsta's pricing is more than reasonable in exchange for the return on investment that's possible when you're getting more customers and sales online. So ultimately, I recommend Kinsta for customers who are looking for WordPress website hosting, reliability, scalability, high uptime, fast loading times, and fast and knowledgeable support. So if these things are what you're looking for in a web host, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you try Kinsta out. As an added benefit, Kinsta offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, prorated refunds, and free site migration so you can try out the services with fairly low risk. Again, if you want to try out Kinsta, go to howtoentrepreneur.org/Kinsta. That's my referral link, my affiliate link. So at no additional cost to you, I would receive a commission that would help support me to get the word out to more entrepreneurs, to help them start and grow their businesses, because I really want to reach many more entrepreneurs and help them to grow their businesses from idea to enterprise. So if you're interested in supporting that cause and you want to also check out Kinsta, then definitely go to howtoentrepreneur.org/Kinsta. So here's a look at the market and what people are searching for online. And you can see that these are some of the alternatives in the market to Kinsta. And these are some alternatives that I recommend. So I didn't include hosting companies here as alternatives that I don't recommend, but these are some other companies that I think you should take a look at if you're in the market for hosting and you want to compare Kinsta versus other options. So the large one here, the green line, is Wealthy Affiliate. That's who I currently use to host my website. They also use cloud hosting, but it's not with Google, it's with Amazon. And they have really good page speeds. So I check my speed, and there's things I can do on my end to improve my page speed, but on the end of my hosting services, I'm very satisfied with the speeds that I get from my hosting right now. They also go up to 500,000 visitors per month with their hosting plans, and you can host up to 50 websites with their plans. Included with their plans, you also get training. If you go through my referral link, then you would get coaching from me, and you get access to a community of over 1 million entrepreneurs. So all of those things will be included with your hosting package at Wealthy Affiliate, and it's $359 annually or $49 a month. When it comes to Big Scoots or Flywheel is another alternative. They also offer Google Cloud, the Google Cloud infrastructure. The positive thing is they also have very good dashboard and user interface, but they do have mixed reviews, quite a bit more than Kinsta. And so quite a few people that I read reviews from who are now Kinsta customers compared Flywheel and Kinsta and said they had a much better experience at Kinsta. And you can see Kinsta is the blue line, so they're on an upward incline with their business growth. And then Big Scoots is another alternative if you're interested in the cPanel and you want a cPanel host. Maybe you want to host a different content management system or something like that. So these are the alternatives that I recommend. And definitely, if you're interested, you can stop by How to Entrepreneur and check out Kinsta for yourself there. Or You can check down in the description box and I'll leave a link where you can check out Kinsta, or you can go to howtoentrepreneur.org/Kinsta, and that will get you where you can visit the website and take a look at the services for yourself. Again, if you haven't already, definitely stop by How to Entrepreneur and check out the business health check and see how you stand. See what things you might need to work on in your business. You can also check out the Mindset Mastery quiz or evaluate any of these topics to improve your business from phase 1 to phase 10, from idea to enterprise. So that's all I have for this video. I'm hoping it was really helpful for you. If it was, please give a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like it, please subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon. So my co-host didn't do a lot of talking. She's here sleeping while I'm doing this review. But I'm so happy to be able to start and run a business that allows me to be flexible for my family, and I hope to show more people what that's like. And that's why I do How to Entrepreneur, so I can show you how to run a business that's fulfilling, that helps you to balance your work and your life, that helps you to really be impactful in your life and in the world. So I'd love to have you on this journey with me to help you grow your business and encourage you along the way. And that's all I have for this video. I hope to see you around, and have a great day. Bye.